Let's stay humble. Today, a man lost his job, a man that we wanted to lose his job, but today the Rebels have won. Martin O'Neill has been installed as the next Celtic manager, the interim Celtic manager, until the end of the season. The Celtic Football Club tonight put out a statement just minutes ago. Celtic Football Club can confirm that Martin O'Neill will be joining the club as manager until the end of this season. Martin will be supported by Sean Maloney, Mark Fotheringham as his assistant, as well as Stephen McManus, who will be joining our existing coaches, Gavin Strachan, Stevie Woods, and Greg Wallace to oversee first team matters. It's good to see that the band are back in town. It's like an addition to take that, isn't it? I think we can now take this down. Can we take this down? Do we give the board room? Do we give the board time to rectify their mistakes over the last couple of months? The Celtic statement then goes on to say, the Celtic manager, Mark, really pleased. In fact, I'm very honoured to be asked back to manage the team again, and I am looking forward to getting back to work again with these players. I know we would all hope that things had worked out differently under Wilfred. I personally want to wish him good luck with everything that he does in the game. He's a fine man, and I am sure he will go on and achieve success again. I have no doubt about that, says Martin O'Neill. For me, I have been asked to take this great job on again, and my focus will be to try and get us back to winning ways if we can. We will need everyone right behind us. We still look forward a lot, and we have a lot to try and achieve. Myself, Sean, and the coaching staff will, of course, and the players will give everything to achieve success for the club. Brian Wilson, interim chairman, says that the way things worked out for Wilfred Nancy is an intense disappointment, not at least purely from a human perspective. We wish him well and his family. And at this point, I want to just take a moment to, yes, we all wanted him out, but let's look at the human side of the video and pictures that were going around of Wilfred Nancy this afternoon in a hotel up in Fort William. He'd obviously been sacked by Celtic at that time and decided to head up to a hotel in the Highlands to gather his thoughts and take some time out after an intense 33-day period. And as Celtic fans, we should respect the man for trying. And it's not his fault that he wasn't good enough. It's great news that Martin O'Neill is back, but I think that, give the guy a bit of respect. He was brought in to do a job. He was picked by people that were not really qualified to pick a manager. And let's say it, he was Tisdale's choice, and Tisdale fell on his sword today also. And you think that he's had to up sticks and bring his family over to Scotland for a month, but I'm sure he was handsomely paid off. Bringing back Martin O'Neill, we look forward with confidence, giving the team a real focus for the challenges ahead. He is a manager the players, the staff, supporters all know well. With a peerless reputation in football and a deep commitment to Celtic, the immediate priority is getting back to winning ways. While today's events do not address every issue, we would appeal for unity within the stadium to create the best possible environment for the Celtic manager and team to launch the fight back. Chief Executive Michael Nicholson added, "We are very pleased to welcome back Martin as Celtic manager until the end of the season. We will give him and the rest of our management team every support as we address the challenges we face during the second half of the season." Having spoken to Martin, I know he is excited again to be with us. and very committed to doing everything he can, along with Sean and the other coaches, to deliver success we all know he can bring. Wilfred is someone who we will always respect. While it is unfortunate that things did not work out, we certainly offer him our best wishes and hope once again he can achieve success in his future roles. Dermot Desmond said, "I am pleased to welcome back Martin. We know exactly what he will bring, and we hope he can do like he has done before, giving us that drive and direction as we move into the next part of the season. We all know about his proven track record at the club, and we hope he can bring us similar success going forward. When we appointed Wilfred to the role as manager, we clearly thought we could enjoy a successful period under his control. Unfortunately, this did not work out the way we would have liked it. While he and the club are disappointed with the recent period, I want to take this opportunity to wish him well in all he does going forward." And I think it's important that we do, you know, when anyone loses a job, it's not a great thing. And I think that have a bit humility and humanity for Wilfred Nancy. He was offered the job and he took it. It's not his fault that the way that he wanted to play football didn't work out. He didn't have the players. The club statement says that just bringing in Martin O'Neill will not fix everything. And I think that we all know that. There's a massive job for Martin O'Neill to do over the coming weeks. There's a massive job for Martin O'Neill to bring in the players that can ultimately help us retain the title. The fight back is on, as the statement says. The statement that Celtic Football Club put out tonight. Now, does this statement tonight, and does the power brokers at Celtic taking action, does it bring to a head the sack the board momentum? Tonight we could say that the Rebels have won. We got rid of Tisdale. It wasn't working with Tisdale. He was the one that brought in Wilfred Nancy. We've got rid of Wilfred Nancy and his backroom staff. The Rebels have won. Do we keep the fight going on, or do we give the board until the end of the season? Do we quickly regroup and get behind the team and vocally support the team for 90 minutes every single game? Because these players need us. Martin O'Neill needs us. Sean Maloney and the backroom staff need us to be united at this time. And maybe it is time to lay down arms, as they say, and enter into some kind of peace negotiations with the board until the end of the season. We forced change as a Celtic support. We got the board to act quicker than anyone thought they would have. And at this point, we need to get everyone back in the stadium and everyone making as much noise for the boys as we can. Hail, hail. And I'll have a drink to that one. We have just given ourselves a chance to get back into this title race. We have just given ourselves a chance to show what we're made of. It's going to be a hard fight. It's going to be a hard slog over the next couple of weeks. But we need every single fan to make as much noise every single game. We need to get back together and intimidate opposition players on the pitch, opposition fans in our stadium. We need to let them know that you cannot keep us down. We have won. The Rebels have won. As far as I'm concerned tonight, we're back. And we're back in business. Yes! Come on. Absolutely ecstatic. As you may have known, as you may have seen, I had to quickly change the title and thumbnail of the video, and I really need to take down that one. Let me just see. What a night! What an unbelievable night. Select backdrop. Max camera. Phone. There we go. That's that. Let me just see which one I have. There we go. The boys are back in town. Yes. And just like that, he is back where he belongs. Get it up, you. We're coming for you. Ha ha. Ah, God. Anyway. Here's to you. And I'm buzzing as well. Might get a swally, says the Pope. It's Three Kings Day here today, and we had some fantastic celebrations. And I always said that the good shines on the great, and it was sunny for Three Kings Day for the first parade that we had, and it was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, there's a couple of super chats come in. Let's see what people have to say. We match even and Baz, one Celtic fans view community. Thank God it is over. With Nancy, come on, you boys in green, coming in from Canada. Time for the Fenians to pick up the tools and get ready for battle. Hail, hail. What a statement that is. Let me just change that camera angle a bit. There we go, that's a bit better. I don't want to be in Martin O'Neill's way, so I'll sit over here because the legend, the man, the myth, the gaffer is back. He's not here to take part. He is here to take over. Come on. Yes. Oh, see all the zombies that have been on the channel the last couple of days getting it. Maybe you just heard the pants fall at your bottom. Anyway, Uncle Martin is back. I'm over the moon, says Jed Johnston. So tell me your thoughts on Martin O'Neill being retained as the manager until the end of the season. Now, it does put us in an ominous position. There is obviously the fact that we need to bring in new managers in the summer. The title race is officially back on. Yes, I apologise if I don't see all your comments. There's been 358 comments already before I've managed to do the Pope's on the communion wine getting tanned. We need to get behind the team massively now. Yes, we do. And I think that it is time. There was obviously the statement that was put out by the Celtic Supporters Association last night. And do you think we'll hear from Callum? I think so. I think Callum may come back and start speaking to the media. And will this stop? Will this stop Callum McGregor leaving to follow in the footsteps of Brendan Rodgers? I think it will. I think that the board have maybe sat down and spoke to Callum and he's went, well, if you're fucking keeping this guy, I'm off. I'm not finishing my career with this nonsense. And I think that the board have made the correct decision. They have made the correct decision. As hard as it was, it wasn't really as hard for the Celtic supporters, but I think everyone, I mean, if you're a football person, you would really have wanted Wilfred Nancy to have been a success. And he will sit and he'll think the fine margins for success and failure at Celtic have been goals. We conceded far too many goals. We missed far too many goals. When you look at Dyson Maida's missing goals, when you look at Johnny Kenny missing goals, when you look at Luke McCowan missing goals, when you look at the fact that normally you would get a cracking one from our captain in a derby, and it just didn't happen. We can't look back, just like when Brendan Rodgers left. It is sad that it didn't work out for him, because the way that he wanted to play football was fantastic. You could see in glimpses what you wanted the manager to do. But at the same time, we just didn't have the players with the capability to play the Wilfred Nancy way. And that is not the manager's fault. Martin O'Neill can come in and steady the ship again. If Martin O'Neill comes in and does what he did as interim manager just over 5 weeks ago when he finished up, I think Martin O'Neill will turn these players into legends. And I think that we'll see Celtic going back to a flat back four and having a little bit of purpose. Now, Sean Maloney is taking training tomorrow. I believe that Martin O'Neill will be back tomorrow at the club. It is all breaking news tonight. Martin O'Neill tonight was meant to be doing a gig. He did do a gig at a hotel last night, and there was pictures of that online. I think it was on Facebook, wasn't it? Let me just get Facebook up. And I believe that Martin O'Neill was to be doing that gig tonight again. But let me just see if I can find if Martin O'Neill has had to postpone his gig tonight. And let's just see if I can find the hotel that he did. Just see. Following one. He was at the Coachman Hotel last night. Now, they haven't put anything on their social media, but they do have the pictures on their social media from Martin O'Neill from last night. And I'll let you see that just now. Huge thank you to everyone who joined us last night for an incredible evening with Martin O'Neill. Now, this was only 20 hours ago. We're set to do again tomorrow night. There are still tickets available, so do not miss this one out. I wonder if Martin O'Neill actually had to cancel that gig, or did Martin O'Neill, who was pictured with various fans last night, and I did ask them, did anyone ask if he would go back? No one got back to me, funnily enough. But he was in Kilsyth last night. He was also pictured in Coatbridge this morning at Mass, and he was pictured in Glasgow this afternoon. Let me just come off the screen before I start showing other stuff. So, that's the Coachman in Kilsyth. Yep, Coachman was seen only going ahead tonight. Yeah, it was this morning, but no, he's there, Baz. Well, it looks like that he is there, and it'll be a case of, well, you all know, guess who's back? Back again. Martin's back. Tell a friend, Martin's back, Martin's back, Martin's back, Martin's back. Hey. Anyway, yep, and Kilsyth. So, it's fantastic news. Let's jump into the comments. Martin O'Neill again wants to prove what Celtic means to him, and Celtic fans know what Martin O'Neill means to them. Yeah, I mean, it's great news. It's absolutely fantastic news. I'm buzzing, but it leaves us with an issue going forward, and we have to get players in this window to help the team. Not only try and win the title, not only try and retain the title, we have got the fight of our life on our hands now. It is not impossible. When you look at the league table, it is not impossible for Martin O'Neill to come in and win the title. It will be hard. We are in a fight. We know this. The board know this. We have to back the manager. Right now, Rangers this week can go ahead of us in the league. Motherwell also have the potential. It could be the fact that at one point this week, Celtic would be 4th position in the league. But not as all lost, as they say. Not all is lost. Being 4th in the league would ultimately be the comeback of all comebacks by any Celtic manager ever. This would put Martin O'Neill up there with legendary status, even more to what he is already. If we were to go from being 4th in the league to being champions at the end of May, oh my days. Just build the statue, just name the stand, and just make the man a living legend forevermore at Celtic, because there is one man and one man only that could do it. And I think that it is Martin O'Neill. You just know it. It was written in the stars. It was written in the stars. I love it. Here is to the one and only Mr. Martin O'Neill, the legend. And I'm booking flights to come home to go to games. That's it. It's decided. I will be looking at flights tomorrow to come home for games between now and the end of the season. Gonna love it. But in all seriousness now, let's look beyond this season. And let's be serious. Although Martin O'Neill will have to come in and he will maintain the status quo until the end of the season and try and get us in a fighting position to try and at least win the league or the Scottish Cup. It then puts us in a predicament. We have to get the right manager in the summer. We have to get the right manager in at the end of May. The board cannot rest on its laurels. The board cannot just get in Martin O'Neill and say, that's it, job done, tick box until the summer. The board have to keep on working to get the right man in the summer and get him in the day after the season finishes. He has to be in place so that he knows the state and quality of the football club, and not only the football club, but the playing staff, before we go into the whatever European campaign qualifiers we find ourselves in, be it the Champions League, which we hope it's not at this point done and dusted. It could be still the Champions League. The focus on the club will be to bring in a quality of player over the next 4 weeks to then make sure that we qualify. The players that come in the summer will be added quality for players that may ultimately leave the club. Martin O'Neill's got a massive job on his hand. Do not underestimate by any means size of the job that Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney has at the club. Now, it is funny that the Huns had 36 hours of joy. Now it's despair again. Yes! You got it in one chill pill. Ha ha! Get it right up, yous. Get it right up, yous. If Martin O'Neill wins the league, he's the greatest manager of all time. Well, the thumbnail that I had for the video originally, I'll see if I can get the original thumbnail that I had for the video before the announcement that Martin O'Neill was coming in as temporary manager until the end of the season. This is the thumbnail that I had. Who's next as manager? Will it be Martin O'Neill? Well, we now know it is until the end of the season. Will it be McKenna? Will it be McKenna? Because he is a player that was of interest. Kieran McKenna was of interest to Celtic, and he kind of ticked all the boxes on a long-term basis. You know, he kind of ticked all the boxes. But what put Celtic off was the £5 million fee that we would have had to pay for McKenna. Now, another ex-player, Scott Brown, has been mentioned. People saying that Scott Brown's not ready. Neil Lennon wasn't ready when he became Celtic manager. Scott Brown would walk into that job, but would Celtic fans accept the fact that an ex-Rangers player would be the number 2 at Celtic? And I don't think that would be a big issue, because let's face it, we had an ex-Aberdeen player who was a massive highbie at Celtic. But then you've got the current Motherwell manager. Could he be the man to take us forward? And then there was the picture of Wilfred Nancy that was took of him at the hotel. And you could tell that his demeanour, you could tell at that point, he obviously knew that he was no longer the Celtic manager. And, you know, when I saw the picture and I saw the video of him walking out of the hotel up at Fort William, I actually felt sorry for him. And it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault at all. It takes different strokes to rule the world. Don't get me started on that again. Great news, but still not a whole Celtic. We need to get the Green Brigade back in. Yes, we do. We do need to get the Green Brigade back in. Will the board ultimately come to some agreement with the Green Brigade to come back in? We need everyone in the stadium. Will the Green Brigade and the Celtic Trust and the Celtic Fans Collective, anything that they had planned has just been ripped up and thrown out the window. Demonstrations for the weekend no longer needed. Where does the Celtic Fans Collective go from here? Because ultimately, the fans won. Yes, we didn't get rid of Nicholson and Chris Mackay, but we got rid of Peter Lawwell. We got rid of Wilfred Nancy and his backroom staff. We got rid of the man who brought Wilfred Nancy in and the players that are not good enough. Tisdale. Are those heads on a block enough for the Celtic fans as we sit tonight? And maybe we should do a little bit of a vote on that. Should. Right, here's one for you. Simple question. In the poll, should we stop all board protests until the end of the season? I think personally, yes. Some people will say, no, you need to still keep going. We still need change. But I think that Celtic Football Club, having made the backroom decisions that they made this week, they brought in the guy from Chelsea. The writing was on the wall. As soon as they brought the guy in from Chelsea to head up the recruitment department, the writing was on the wall for Tisdale. So should we stop all board protests until the end of the season? That is the poll question tonight. There are currently 778 people online. There's been 2,830, 2,856 people on the live. Do you think that we should stop the protests from now until the end of the season to completely back the team, to, you know, get us all pushing forward? Because this is the title fight of all title fights. We've not been in a title fight like this since 1980s. This is the severity of it. Come on, give Martin O'Neill the full January kitty to spend and get the Green Brigade back in, says Tony. I think we should, but I'm going to jump to Martin O'Neill wins the league. It would be the greatest manager of all time. I'm apologise. I'm going to go right to the end of the comments. There is over 600 odd comments. The best thing the fans can do now is to get behind everything and do our bit to salvage our title. However, the club needs to let the Green Brigade back too. That would go a long way to help. For what the team now have to do to win, they need supporters to be unified and behind them. Yes, they do. Stop the protest as long as they get the Green Brigade back in the ground. Martin O'Neill has proved many times how much he loves Celtic, and once again at 73 he proves it again. The Green Brigade should back in now. Yes, can he stop smiling? Golden Nuggets. The Green Brigade are back in. Yes. If not, no, says Peter. That one's down to the board. And I think that the board have to make some kind of decision on it. I think that the board seem to have listened so far. The board seem to have taken heed of fans walking out early. Do you know, the abuse that the board have taken from people in the main stand will have not have gone unnoticed. And I think that, I mean, everyone at the club, for the first half against Rangers, and when Yang scores that goal, you're thinking, do you know what? Is this the day that the manager turns it around? And if the manager had turned it around and managed to get an emphatic win over Rangers at the weekend, we might not be sitting here talking about Martin O'Neill. We might have been talking about Wilfred Nancy and going forward, and you know, does he have it within him? Was it a one-off game? But he didn't, and we move on. Signed 2 strikers in January, right winger of quality, and we will win the league. March with O'Neill. Will we march with O'Neill? That'll take us to the top of the league. Stevie Wood has returned. Has Stevie Woods returned? I am not too sure on that one. I think that he just left this week. I'm not sure if Stevie Woods has returned or not. Let me just close down some of these because I'm running with quite a lot of things open. Martin O'Neill. I've never seen anything about Stevie Woods, but I think that Martin O'Neill would be the kind of person that would get Stevie Woods back in. Yes, stop it all, United. Let's get back in. Scales must be delighted. Yep. I think this gets us Evan Ferguson. Is he the player to save our season? Dermot bringing back O'Neill to save his own ass and take the heat off him. This is a coward move from Dermot, says Haggis, Neeps and Tatties. Welcome back, mate. I hope you had a good few. We know it is, but we asked them to make the decision. We asked the board the question. We put pressure on the board to make the decision. Do you know, ultimately, was it Dermot Desmond? Who was the one that pulled the trigger on Wilfred Nancy's Celtic career? I've had to cancel Saturday's agreements because I'm going to the football again. All of a sudden, nobody's got any spare tickets. All of a sudden, nobody has any spare tickets. Hopefully, Sinisala will get a chance. Hopefully, get the Green Brigade back in for Saturday. Let's all get behind the team. Maybe others will be gone at the end of the season. Don't want too much change at this point of the season. It's definitely been a crazy season. We're looking like Man United, the way that the club has been run. It's crazy that we decided to sack the manager the same day as Man United sacked the manager, and there was a few other managers sacked. Green Brigade should agree to behave as part of any deal to get back in. Takes two to tango. It does that, and I'm sure there will be. The Green Brigade already know that they were on a potential ban with pyro and all the other things. So the fact that if the hostility, if there is a statement that there is the cessation of hostility to the manager, will that be enough for the Green Brigade to get back into Celtic? ultimately, I think that it will. But I think that it will come with caveats. Do you know, it will come with, well, you need to stop targeting the board. You need to publicly come out and say that you will stop targeting board members, board family members, etc., etc., etc. And will the Green Brigade and anyone associated with them, will that be enough? Is this enough to stop them having the direct action against the board? That's not for me to answer. That's a case of let's wait and see. I tell you one thing, the board have played a blinder today. We all wanted this decision made at the weekend. I think that a lot of us were kind of like, it's not going to happen, is it? We're going to be stuck with this guy for a while. But we need harmony now. Positive vibes to the players. Yes, we do that. Celtic chances to win the league have just improved greatly. The board are hiding their failings behind a 73-year-old legend. I don't think that they're hiding their failings. I think sacking the manager and sacking Paul Tisdale, whilst not a direct admission of liability. I mean, we all read the Celtic statement that Celtic put out. Celtic Football Club today announces that it has decided to terminate the contract of Wilfred Nancy with immediate effect. Paul Tisdale's also left the club as head of football operations. We'd like to thank Paul. I mean, that was the two that we wanted rid of. Who you've got to feel sorry for is Wilfred Nancy's assistants that he's dragged over from America, and they've been cooked up in a hotel for 33 days and endured a horrendous time. I really think with comments like that, the board are in a no-win situation. It is time, do you know, and I have put a poll out, is it time to call an end to the hostility between now and the end of the season? Let these people get on with the job, get behind the team. We need everyone. If we've got any aspirations at all, if we have any aspirations at all to win the league, we need to make sure that everyone's in the stadium. We need to make sure that every single Celtic fan is in the stadium and backing the team. And that's what it comes down to. Do you know, the more people that back the team, the more chance that we will have of winning. But anyway, right, let me get some more questions in. Yes, no protest till the end of the season. Back the team and get the Green Brigade back in. Jags fans here just to say great news that Martin O'Neill's back. I think he will bring in a striker and maybe another. When Martin wins the league, in my opinion, he will get another season. Once again, great news from a Jags fan. Fair play to you, mate. Will Martin O'Neill get one more season? Will Martin O'Neill have said, you know, if I win the league, I want one more crack at Europe? 73, 74-year-old. It's no spring chicken. But he will have a fantastic backroom staff. 2 quality strikers, imperative? Yes, definitely. Immediately. But with the head of the football department left, and the type of player that we have been scouting, is that all up in the air? Has there now a void been created at Celtic in the football department? Or is it simple? Martin O'Neill comes in and goes, right, let's get the boy for Hibs. Don't care if it costs 5 million. Let's get you on boy for Hibs. Let's get this player. And it's as simple as that. And Martin O'Neill gets his way. But we need harmony, positive vibes to the players. Yes, we do. The chances of winning Celtic have just improved. The board are hiding their failings between a 73-year-old. The Green Brigade need to offer an olive branch to the board when that needs movement on both sides. Yes, it does. And will the Green Brigade do that? Will the Green Brigade ultimately do that? Green Brigade won't get back in. Winter get in. Celtic fans own this great club, all stand together and win this title. I'll tell you one thing, it's definitely given us a little boost that we needed. No more Casper, Green Brigade back in, no pyro. Yeah, that'll be one of the things. If you put off any pyro, you're going to be out anyway because you're going to get us out of goals. Johnny Kenny scored 4 goals under Martin. Just saying. Do you think the players ultimately missed goals to get rid of the manager? Green Brigade are the reason that the board backed down. I don't think so. I don't think that the Green Brigade are the reason that the board backed down. If you look at the statement on the video this morning from the Celtic Supporters Association, which is a far bigger organisation than the Green Brigade would ever be. You're talking about an organisation that every single supporters bus that goes to Celtic Park is a member of. A far, far bigger organisation than the Green Brigade and have far more firepower. And the fact that the demands that they made yesterday, I don't think that the Green Brigade are the reason that the board's backed down. Let's be honest here. I think it's results. There's no disrespect to the Green Brigades or anything that the Green Brigade do, but I think it was the results of the manager that forced the hand. Fans need to protest until there's change on the board. Fans will always win. Look what happened today. Hail, hail. God bless Martin, says Sean. The best news of the season. But does that continue to the direct animosity within the stadium? Or do we get back to, instead of singing sack the board, which doesn't motivate a player to do well, or do you get the fan base back to singing Celtic songs to motivate the players, to give the players that extra 2 or 3 yards, to give the players that boost that they know that the fans are right behind them? Or are we just going to keep the same old, even when Martin O'Neill comes into the end of the season and we keep singing sack the board, sack the board, sack the board? That would just create our own downfall. Apparently Woods is back. Yeah, there's quite a lot of people saying that. Let me just see if I can see anything on. Let me just go into WhatsApp a second. And interesting. Oh, negativity. Let's see, Steve Woods. But anyway, apparently Stevie Woods is back, although we've not had any confirmation of that. But if he is back, could be a good thing for the Is Fozzie back? Yes, Fozzie is back also. Fozzie is back at Celtic, which is fantastic because he is someone that that a lot of Celtic fans like. I will put this statement up again. Martin O'Neill has done an interview on Celtic TV.
The call, quite literally, once again, and we'll take charge of Celtic until the end of the season. What are your emotions right now in this mad, crazy football world?
Well, it is a mad, crazy football world. You're absolutely right. You know, just at this minute, because it's happened so quickly, I really don't know what to say. I'm obviously very, very pleased, privileged to be back again at the football club. And but under the sort of circumstances, really, you know, before Brendan had resigned, and therefore, you know, there was that small opportunity, interim time, to come back to the football club. But in circumstances as this here, with Wilfred leaving the club, and that just seems a wee bit strange just at this moment.
Yeah, very few people get to experience what it's like to be the manager of Celtic Football Club, but as one of the most successful managers in our history, as well as being pleased to be here, do you also have some professional sympathy for Wilfred Nancy and what he tried to do under difficult circumstances?
Very much so, very much so. And I know you want to try and be as genuine as possible. Really
humble man.
I had a 15 or 20 minute conversation with him the day after the Dundee game. He was coming into it. I've been there before as a young manager as well, to strange environment, coming into something here that you think that you know about. I mean, I kind of grew up as knowing about Celtic Football Club, but way back in 2000 when I arrived, I really did not realise just how big the football club and what it meant to people as well too. So from that viewpoint, you're coming from a different environment. You're trying to take everything in at the same time, and you're having to try and win football matches. And it's a tough old business. And so old business. And he will be successful again. And he'll have learned an awful lot from that there, and take things on. So he will be successful. But you have to win some football matches.
Yeah, you do.
And sometimes you can be dreadfully unlucky as well too.
He was.
When you got the call earlier in the season, Martin, you said you were here to steady the ship. You did that with 7 wins out of 8. Is the remit the same this time?
Essentially the same. It might be a longer period. I think that conversation with Dermot Desmond was one that I think maybe might go through to the end of the season, giving the football club time to really look around, get someone in who's going to be here for the next 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years.
Listen, I'm in the football business. I might not see it through to the end of the season. You have to win football games. So and that's the big thing. So the last little spell was fine, but you start again, and you get to I hopefully I will enjoy it. But the truth is, after I left, I said I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure that's true really. I probably did.
You'll bring your backroom team together again with Sean Maloney next to you in the dugout. How important will that team of people be around you in the months ahead? Well,
they were. I would hope exactly the same again as it was before. I relied greatly on them as well too. Young people,
brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Young lads that I had coached before who've grown up, know the game inside out as well too, and had very, very good coaching points. I sometimes had to kind of sort of steady things a little bit. Hold on, you're going a wee bit too fast for me. I have to catch up. But overall, I'm delighted that they're back.
You also spoke about belief a few weeks back. Is that what it's about, giving footballers belief that they can be successful again?
Well, that's a major part of it. It is. There's no doubt. I use this phrase, restoration of confidence.
Restoration of confidence.
When I come in, first of all. And I suppose that would probably be a similar message again. Well, players can play, and the lovely thing about it is that when players that are very fine footballers can come back and perform to the manner and at a sort of the standard that they can achieve and that they have done in the past, and I think that's a nice thing. And if all of those things fall into place, then you've got a chance of winning.
You have got a chance of winning, and that is Martin O'Neill with his first interview back as Celtic interim manager. It's an unbelievable day when you think about it. Getting rid of him so quick. Dermot Desmond obviously picking the phone back up. It's interesting that Dermot Desmond is one that keeps on picking the phone up to Martin O'Neill. Whereas when it came to Wilfred Nancy, he was picked by Paul Tisdale. Now, we're glad that Paul Tisdale has finally left the club. Also puts us in a fantastic position going forward between now and the end of the season. But one of the big factors that we need to talk about is, should we stop all board protests until the end of the season? 75% of 405 votes so far says yes, we should park the bus. with the board protest. Some people online have said, no, we need to keep it going. Desmond the Rat, one comment. Ferguson and Bowie up front, yep, get us back to, well, will we go to that? Because Martin O'Neill at his time at Celtic played a 3-5-2, and it seems that we do not like playing as a back three at Celtic. We don't have the players to play a back three at Celtic. We've been getting ripped apart. As we all wanted change within the formation of the football club and the formation of the team, we've got change at boardroom level to a certain extent, with one person have gone. We got rid of Tisdale, we got rid of the manager, we got rid of his backroom staff. But ultimately, there are people that staying at the club that people still may want to get out of the club. And should they be given time until the end of the season? Let me just get this picture that's came in. Great to see Wilfred gone, back to business, and a good few players in, and Martin O'Neill will steady the ship. That's what it all is about, isn't it? It is all about Martin O'Neill steadying the ship, getting rid of some players that are low in confidence, getting on some players that have given up on their ability to be successful at Celtic. Mulligan in midfield and get Hatate out the door. Just sounds a lot more confident. Well, back Martin, yeah, he does sound more confident than any other previous manager. Time for a full reset and bring the Green Brigade back in. I think that it is time for the Green Brigade, the Celtic fans collective and the board. I mean, the board might turn around and say, look, we put out a statement, we want everyone to come together. If that's not good enough for you and you're not going to stop these attacks on Celtic staff members, Celtic have went down the narrative of that the fans are personally attacking members of staff at Celtic, i.e. the directors. Is it time to stop that until the end of the season? That's the question that I'm asking. I think that it is one that needs asked. Whether they do or not, some people say nope, keep it going, get rid of these board members as well. But who will Celtic go for after Martin? Well, this is the thumbnail that I did have up earlier, and these were the people that I thought that Celtic may go for after Martin O'Neill. Will it be McKenna? McKenna was one of the bookies' favourites early on before Wilfred Nancy got the job. Kieran McKenna is a name that was known to Celtic. He was a favourite at one point, and he has done well with bringing through young players, but he had a big price tag on his head. It's understood that it was going to cost £5 million to get him out of his contract, and he was on a big wage down there at Ipswich Town. Now, he is the type of manager that Celtic could be looking at. Martin O'Neill has said that Celtic will be looking at for a manager that will be here for a 3 or 4 year term basis. I think that they want a steady. They know that the club is going through change. The board know that we're going through a reset when it comes to the squad. They know that it's going to be a minimum of a 3 to 4 year contract that they need to give a manager. We need a 3 to 4 year plan. If the board do come out and tell us, look, this is the plan. Martin O'Neill is here until the end of the season. We're then looking to bring in a manager that's going to work on a 3 to 4 year term plan. 3 to 4 term year to turn the complete football side of the business around. Bring us in a squad of players, give us the academy we need to sign players for the academy. We don't have ready-made players in the academy. Celtic at this moment have to go out and purchase players that are 17, 18, 19 year old. We're going to have to go out and spend money to bring those players to the club because we don't have them coming through the club at the moment. We've got an academy, a B team that is majority filled with 16 and 17 year olds. The 18, 19 and 20 year old bracket at Celtic is non-existent. We're going to have to go out and persuade players that they have a pathway. If they come to Celtic Football Club, that they will have a pathway into the first team. We have to have a manager that comes to the club that has that in mind, that will work with academies and will nurture academy players and play them in his team. There's no use bringing in a manager that says, I don't want him, he's 17, he's 18 year old, he's 19 year old. I don't want academy players. I just want first team ready players so that we can win. I don't care about the academy. Well, if that's the type of manager that Celtic bring in, we are doomed for the next 4 or 5 years. So I'm glad that Martin O'Neill, after having conversations with Dermot Desmond, says that, look, we're going to try and find the right man to bring in for the next 3 or 4 years. That was one of the most important takeaways that I took for the Martin O'Neill interview. Any decent striker out there would at least win a trophy of some sort. It would that. Thank God the Godfather's back. Robbie Keane. I'm not too sure. Back to the 4-3-3. Let's hope it's not back to the side-to-side passing football. We didn't do side-to-side passing football under Martin O'Neill, so it is maybe a good thing that we haven't went back to. Do we have the players to play in the back four? There's one thing we're going to definitely need to bring. Dermot Desmond has issued a statement. Has he? He's issued his own statement. I thought he'd issued one that's not on the Celtic website. Let me just go to Twitter notifications. Nope. There's not any Dermot Desmond statement. There's only the statement that was issued at the end of the club statement with Wilfred Nancy. So I'm not seeing that one. Anyways, 400 and there's been over 4,600 people online, which is good for this nice small channel. There's been 482 votes. Should we stop all board protests until the end of the season? The season 73% say yes and 27% say no. Good few players in, and Martin O'Neill will steady the ship. A full reset with Illuminati Peter. He has left the club, but he's not left the club. He's still in the club in a capacity, but it doesn't have anything to do with running the club. Strachan must be the Guinness Book of Records of chewing gum at fast speed. Yeah, it must that. Any decent striker, and we have a trophy in our hands. Yep, I'm just going to jump through some of these. Funny that there's no zombies on tonight, Just woke up, it's like Santa has paid a second visit. It's Three Kings Day, mate. It will be Three Kings Day with you, because it's currently the 6th. So happy Three Kings Day. And Martin O'Neill is the kingmaker at Celtic Park. It's about Martin coming back to win the league. Yeah, that's really it, isn't it? I think the atmosphere on Saturday will be electric now. Well, maybe it will and maybe it won't. Will there still be chants of sack the board? Jasper says protest if they don't bring in required players. Yeah, I mean, I think that there should be protests but should the board be given until the end of the window? Should there be? I mean, they talk about it in political terms. They talk about this campaign as being a political based campaign. It was on the verge of going guerrilla type campaign, the ultras taking over and it being more of a paramilitary type attack on the board on a daily basis. Should there be a cessation of all activity against the board over the next 4 weeks as an olive branch to the board, as an olive branch to say, look, things have happened, there has been the change, we think that we have won, the board will think that they haven't given in. There has to be a leeway, there has to be some common ground from the club and the board to move forward. The board have said in their statement that they want everyone to come together. Martin O'Neill has said that he wants everyone to come together and fight for the greater cause of Celtic Football Club. So that ultimately says that there needs to be some cessation of the daily attacks on the board. We've got the board on the run, finish them off, but in a sensible way, says Paradise Found. You can finish them off at the end of the season. There's no rush. Do you know what I mean? Some people will say, yep, keep going full on attack. Let's get rid of these two. The Celtic board have admitted that Paul Tisdale got it wrong. So he got the sack. The Celtic board have admitted that Wilfred Nancy has not been the success that they wanted. He got the sack. His backroom staff's gone. Wilfred Nancy's gone. Paul Tisdale's gone. Ultimately, is that enough? That is the big question tonight. We need to remember we had some Boyer Hins under Martin. We need some new players. We did that. Spend money in January window, and maybe I'll back you. Until then, not another penny from me. Do you think he's shown Maloney the ropes? No one is charged with assault, Baz. If nobody's charged with assault, let's just put it all to bed then. I just woke up here, and it's like Santa has paid a second visit. Well, Santa comes here tomorrow. It's called the Three Kings. And the Three Kings arrived this evening, which was fantastic. What a day I've had. We need to get rid of Schmeichel. Yes, we do that. Stephen is off. Robbie Keane, let's not even talk about Robbie Keane. Let's move on from Robbie Keane. I wonder who we're going to sign now. Surely a better calibre player. Wolf walks away with a cool 1 million. Not bad for a 4 weeks work. Yeah, I did say that he was going to walk away with around about 1.2 million. I think that was in his contract, that if he got paid off within a certain amount of time, that would happen. McKenna has a 10 million bonus if he gets Ipswich promoted. Oof. That's a big bonus. But maybe he's not the man for Celtic then. Maybe he is not the man for Celtic. Protest to stop. Give time to support Martin O'Neill and the team. We need to show that we're all coming together. The Celtic family way. I'd sign Evan Ferguson. It's okay to sign Ferguson, but does he want to swap Rome for the East End of Glasgow? Why not? Don't care what anyone says. The protest and negativity around the club this season is affecting the players. Yes, it is. Hence the reason that I asked the question, should we now stop them? I know that it's not enough. I know that it's not the full change that we wanted. But sometimes to achieve the bigger goals in life, sometimes you have to take a step back, take the small wins. The first small win was getting rid of Peter Lawwell. We've got a major win today as a support. As a support, we've got a massive win. And some people will say, yeah, keep going. Keep going and put more pressure on the board. But I think that now is time to take a step back. If fans truly want us to win the league, you've got to remember there were a lot of fans that wanted us to lose against Rangers so that we can get rid of Wilfred Nancy. There was a lot of fans that were happy with the fact that, maybe this is what it will take. Are they prepared to go, right, now's time to get really back and supporting the team? Just see. Sorry that I've missed some of your comments. Wilfred walks away. McKenna. When's Jota back? A couple of months. The board have no respect for fans and haven't had for years. Yeah, we know that. But ultimately, 50-1 to win the Europa League. You can dream, but that's the difference having Martin O'Neill. There's no chance. Absolutely no chance that we'll win the Europa. Jota and Johnson are back soon, says Stephen. I wonder if Dyson will have a new lease of life. I hope Dyson's away in this window. And I really do. I think that we need to get... If you want to move forward as a club, We need to get rid of Dies and Maeda. We need to get rid of Hitati. You know, we got rid of Inamura. I don't know. I don't even know why we signed Inamura. You know, he come in the door. And then there's the bizarre situation that we had with the Manchester City player, where he has a 5 million sell-on clause with a 10 million buyback clause, which is absolutely unbelievable. If this was manager gets in the Premiership, he's not coming to Celtic. Yeah, I'm just going to jump through them. No, I didn't. I done your super chat. Protest if they don't bring in players required. I did your super chat, mate. Twice now. Twice I did that. Anyway, I'm going to jump through to the. It's been a crazy 8 weeks. It's been what a time in football to have had the turmoil that we've had since the beginning of this season, to then have had Brendan Rodgers talk about the club and talk about the players. Brendan Rodgers killed the motivation that the players had. Brought down the players to Honda Civic style mentality. A man that says that he was all about improving players. He was all about making players better. He was always about making players an elite player. And Brendan Rodgers did not do that. Brendan Rodgers single-handedly, with the board, brought down any hope that we had of a treble and even getting into the Champions League. Brendan Rodgers is himself, the naivety of Brendan Rodgers. We looked at the game that Karat Almaty played. We watched the game, some of us on this channel watched the way that Karat Almaty played against a team that Celtic played last year in the Champions League. And Celtic didn't take heed of any warnings that anybody that watched that game. From coming on from Martin O'Neill taking over from Brendan Rodgers, yes, a lot of fans will sit back and go, you know, we all wanted Martin O'Neill here to the end of the season. And yes, it would have been an easy decision for Celtic to make. And in hindsight, it was the correct decision. But from a football perspective, bringing in another manager that had the potential to take us on, not just this year, but for the next 2 seasons after this season, was a chance that Celtic had to take. It was a chance that Celtic had to take. And unfortunately, it did not work out. But we move on. We do move on because it's been absolutely a fantastic day. The Rebels have won, and ultimately, Martin O'Neill's back. Fozzie should have been kept on at the club anyway with the youth system, something like that. Great big guy at the club. Everyone has nothing but good things to say about him. Well, hopefully, we need the Green Brigade back in the stadium going forward. Yep, we do that. Got to get the Green Brigade in as well as soon as possible. A lot of people saying that we need to get the Green Brigade in as quick as possible. Can we get another 40 odd 38 votes now? Can we get another 38 votes? I mean, it's pretty emphatic. Should we stop all board protests until the end of the season? 72% of the people that have voted have said yes, we should stop all the board protests until the end of the season. Let's get behind the manager, let's get behind the team, and let's just park the bus, as it says, because we've got the fight of our life. A fight that many Celtic supporters will reminisce about from the 1980s, when a title went down to the wire, when Heart of Midlothian thought that they had the title in the bag. But Celtic had other aspirations. Celtic had other things on their mind. Celtic kept on going. They never stopped. And with a little bit of a help from our friend, Hearts crumbled on the last day of the season. Will it be the same with the points difference at the league table now being in Hearts' favour? Hearts have a goal difference of 22. Celtic have a goal difference of 13. Rangers have a goal difference of 13. Motherwell have a goal difference of 14. And Hibernian also have a goal difference of 13. There is a realistic chance that Celtic could end up in 4th position. It's maybe a bit more unlikely now that we'll end up in 4th, but we will definitely end up in 3rd before the weekend, I think. Roy Aitken was captain when I was born in April 1987. Jesus. I was in Paisley that day. When we look at the league table, there is what some may say is mission impossible for Martin O'Neill. Is this the ultimate mission? Has Martin O'Neill just accepted that mission? He has. And going forward, Martin O'Neill has got one thing and one thing only on his mind. Martin O'Neill did say, look, if I don't get the results, I could be shown the door the exact same way as Wilfred Nancy. He knows what it's all about. It's all about winning games. Celtic need to get back to winning games this weekend. And I need 10 more votes to finish off this poll. 10 votes. So if we can get 10 votes in, we'll finish off the poll with 600 votes. That's quite a decent number of votes for tonight. I think the best poll we did was it had about 1,400. There have been over 5,000 people on, but it's just a nice small channel, this, so that's not too bad. For a crazy night. Don't worry about Hearts, they can't play any better. Rangers can't play any better. We can't get any worse. We will win this league title. I need 9 votes. Come on, 9 votes. There are over 847 people. And 5 votes to go. 2 votes. 3 votes. Keeps on jumping around. And then we'll finish that poll off for this evening. It is absolutely fantastic news that Martin O'Neill is back at Celtic Football Club. 2 votes. Come on, I need 2 people to vote. Just round the number off. I hate uneven numbers. Get it to that 600. 1 vote to go. There we go. We're almost in the bag. Let's get it over the line this evening. 1 more vote and that is it. It's a round number of 600. The poll has ended. The Celtic fans on the One Celtic Fans View channel have spoken. 72% says we should stop all board protests until the end of the season. 28% say no. Over 600 people have voted in just under an hour on the channel. And I think that it would pretty much go a similar way if we were to get a big amount in. Woke up from night shift, the League One, thought I was dreaming. Yeah, I think we're all dreaming. Let's go Celtic. If Martin O'Neill, if anyone can, Martin O'Neill can. That is it. That has me done and dusted for this evening. Thank you to every single Celtic fan that has joined us tonight. Big shout out to Jasper, big shout out to Fen 089, big shout out to Tony Stewart, Jed Johnson, Connor and wee Mitch for the super chats this evening. We are back in town. The boys are back in town. Let's get time to party, because Celtic are about to have the comeback of all comebacks. And let's go and win this league.